if you have a storefront or a business or something commercial, industrial, mixed use, anything non-residential, and your business is facing the public right-of-way, then you could be eligible for the Facade Improvement Grant. So some of the design standards that we're looking for is more of a coastal kind of feel. This is a great example. This is our Great Bridge Commons 1. And so you can see, some of the architectural elements here are cedar shake, which kind of gives it that beach quality feeling. The trim is nice and bright, and so it kind of catches your eye, but we also have that mix of masonry, so that light wash of the brick, even some red brick further down, and those awnings that are kind of a wood pattern. And so we wanted to feel as though, when you're crossing the bridge and you're overlooking that portion of water, you feel as though like, oh, this is a scale that I recognize, But we also want to keep it colonial, and keep some of the history here, especially, we're on Battlefield Boulevard. The Facade Improvement Grant covers a range of different things, so that's anything from hardscape, if you have brick or masonry, windows or doors, awnings. If you have softscape, like trees or mulch, bushes, things of that nature. If you wanted to put a garden in your storefront, that's something that we love to see and love to cover. Also pedestrian enhancements, so things that allow your pedestrians and your patrons to feel safe as they visit your storefront. We'd also love to see some outdoor eating, be able to enjoy some of this wonderful weather. And a sign, if your business, the first thing that people will notice is what it has to say, and you'd love to give it some advancement, give it a little love, we could cover that as well. So it's a reimbursement program. It's a match, so the city will cover you one-to-one for up to $20,000. You would essentially upload any kind of plans or elevations that you might have. So if you're going to do a facade improvement fully exterior, let us know how high the brick is, or let us know what kind of materials that you'd like to be using. So you would upload that. You would upload any quotes from any contractors that you might have. And yeah, just let us know. We're here and we're open to talk and understand any kind of improvements that you see fit for your program, for your business. And we just love to be able to help.
Hi, I'm Mike Andrzejczyk with Virginia Cooperative Extension, and I'm going to talk to you today about a few fall garden tips. First thing you want to do is put your garden to rest. So if you have a vegetable garden, some of those crops are going to be finishing up. You want to probably get them out of there and clean it up. And at this time, you can put in a cool season crop, so lettuces and cabbages and kales and things like that. But you can also just put it to sleep if that's not your thing. You could put some green manure crops in to just keep the soil intact and make it look nice through the winter. Or you can just let it go fallow, put some straw or mulch or something on it just to keep the weeds out. Okay, so a good thing to do too with your vegetable gardens is to do a soil test, because all summer you've been picking vegetables and taking things out of there, so you're removing nutrients. And when you're removing nutrients, you need to put those back for next year. So good time to do that is right now, to do a soil test and get your results in so that you can add any lime to adjust the pH. Add any nutrients or organic matter or whatnot so that you're ready for the next crop that you're going to do, whether it's this fall or next spring.
So you do have a few different options when it comes to leaf removal of your lawn. They look beautiful when they're on the trees, changing colors. They look beautiful for a minute when they're on your lawn, but then it's time for them to go. So the first thing you could do is compost. If you are into composting, you want to have some good compost for the spring, you can add leaves to your compost pile, and that's one way to dispose of them if you're going to rake them off your lawn. The second would be to bag them. And in Chesapeake, here on your normal collection day, if you have your bagged leaves leaves out at the curb, they will be picked up. The third thing is mulch mowing. So you can use your mower to mulch over those leaves and let them lie on your grass, and as they decompose, they are a natural fertilizer for your lawn. The number one thing you do not want to do with the leaves, though, is blow or rake them or sweep them into the street.
Okay.
Once they go into the street, they're just like litter. They will enter the storm drains. They clog up storm drains, so when it rains next time, you could get some street flooding because of that. But also, those leaves, as they break down like they would on your lawn, they're releasing nutrients. We don't want those nutrients to get released back into our local waterways. And as we know, the storm drains lead directly to our local waterways. They don't go to a treatment facility like our wastewater does.
And that's something that's really hard for people to like wrap their brains around, is the fact that, like, okay, well, they're natural, there are lots of leaves everywhere, so how can it be bad to kind of send them on their way? But obviously the flooding is the big one. You never want to be the guy on the street who floods the entire neighborhood. But also for that nutrient release. That's, a lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah, and so different times of year, when the weather's right, temperatures increase, those excess nutrients will create those algae blooms that are in our local waterways. You see that green, yucky mess.
Can kind of stink sometimes.
Right, and it's the algae is depleting the oxygen in the water. It's not good for our aquatic life, and so best thing to do is just keep those leaves and other debris out of the storm drain. Another thing just to remember while we're on the topic of things in the storm drain is your pet waste. If you're out walking your dogs, we do a lot more walking in the fall, and we're out enjoying the beautiful weather. Always pick up after your pets, not just when you're on a walk though, even in your own backyard, because that dog waste has bacteria in it that we don't want to get into our local waterways. So it's very important that we are pertinent about picking that up.
Hi, I'm Ed Bradley, and I'm a Chesapeake Master Gardener, and I'm here at the Chesapeake Arboretum in Chesapeake, Virginia. And we're on this historic property that goes back almost 400 years as agricultural farmland. We have a historic house here, parts of which go back to the 18th century. And this became a Chesapeake Park about 25 years ago. And during that time, we've had a strong volunteer effort to make this park what it is today. We have a mixture of things going on here. On the grounds, several acres, we have native and introduced trees that have been planted to demonstrate urban forestry techniques here in coastal Virginia. And then we have a mature hardwood forest, linear suburban greenway that you can see here with about 3 miles of trails across the street. So we're going to spend some time today on the Red Blaze Trail, the half-mile trail in the middle, where the most diversity is in the Arboretum. I want to explain the sign system we have here on our native tree trail. And you can see we have the common name, the botanical name, and the family name. That's the natural classification system we use on signs, and that's based on reproductive similarities. But the artificial system that we use in field work, we also use to help you identify the plants out here. So the fourth line tells you whether it's deciduous or evergreen, whether it's native or not. Out here, they're all native. Whether it's a tree, shrub, or vine. And then the leaves, which are the primary way we identify trees in the field and in most field guides, it mentions the critical things to notice there to help you narrow down what tree it is. I do want to explain our trailblazers on the tree here. And we have white, which you follow to do the central loop, and we have orange on the southern loop and yellow on the north loop. So this is something you often see in parks to help guide you through the trail system. But our native tree trail, which is a sort of subcomponent of some other trails, including the central loop, is painted red. So that's what we're following here today. Here we are on one of the 11 bridges at the Chesapeake Arboretum that crosses this stream called Star Run. And this was dug as an agricultural ditch to drain the farmland years ago, but it's turned into a beautiful meandering stream. And you can see the trees on either side. It's a riparian forest buffer. And this drains into Great Bridge Marsh, which goes into the southern branch of the Elizabeth River, which goes into the Chesapeake Bay. So this is part of our Chesapeake Bay watershed. And this is bald cypress, Taxodium distichum. This is the city tree of Chesapeake. And like live oak, this is a world-class tree. These trees can live to be over 2,000 years old, and they're remarkably adaptable. They can grow in standing water, where you'll see the famous knees that come up, or they can also grow in tough urban conditions. It's also a deciduous gymnosperm. So you can see here there's no needles on this tree at this time of year. So most gymnosperms are evergreen, and this is an exception to that. But we want to thank you for coming to the Arboretum today, and you can check out information about us at the Parks and Recreation website at cityofchesapeake.net. We're open sunrise to sunset and encourage you to come out and enjoy the different features we have here.